Hi, welcome to Shalom Farms. I'm Mark and I'm one of the farmers here. We're a nonprofit farm that believes that everyone deserves access to fresh and healthy food, regardless of where you live or how much money you make or what you look like. We think that you should have the food that is necessary to make you big and strong and healthy, to have good energy and focus, and just live the best life that you want to live. Today we're going to talk about ecosystems and walk around and interact with all of the living and non-living things in this farm. Some of the things in my ecosystem right now that I can see are the trees, the sun, the soil, the plants that we're growing, and some of the structures that we're growing them inside of. This farm is also part of a community that includes churches, parks, hospitals, schools, lots of people that we interact with every single day. What are some of the ecosystems that you're a part of? Some other examples are schools and cities, as well as deserts and jungles and forests. When we talk about ecosystems, it helps us to think bigger than just us and think of all of the ways that we can have an impact, whether good or bad, on the things around us. Welcome to our hoop house. This is a structure that we've created to keep plants nice and safe and warm inside of it. In Virginia, we can't always grow crops outside during the winter and the early spring, so we start them inside of here where it's nice and warm. Warmth from the sun gets trapped inside of this plastic and keeps our plants nice and toasty so they can start a little bit earlier. This also prevents rain from coming down, and certain crops like tomatoes and eggplant don't like getting their leaves wet, except the perfect environment for fungus and disease to grow. We have much healthier plants when we get to grow them inside of here. Some of the living things within our ecosystem that can have a bad impact on our plants are pests. Those are bugs that might eat our vegetables before we're able to harvest them. Those are things like aphids and cucumber beetles, as well as tomato hornworms. To prevent them, we plant certain flowers as companion plants. These are sweet alyssum. They attract a parasitic wasp that go after tomato hornworms. Over next to our pepper plants, we plant marigolds. Those attract lacewings and ladybugs that eat the aphids. That way we can be working together with some other insects to make sure our plants stay nice and healthy. Insects also serve a really important role within our ecosystems by being pollinators. Bees, beetles, birds, and butterflies, as well as lots of other bugs, are able to pollinate flowers, which produce fruits. When those bugs go from flower to flower, they are slurping up nectar, which is really good for them, and passing pollen on their body from flower to flower. This allows us to produce any sort of fruit, like blueberries or cucumbers or tomatoes, and without these bugs, we wouldn't be able to have those. We're here in the cover crop. The cover crop is a combination of legumes and grasses that we plant anytime that we're not planting a crop that we're going to eat. The legumes, in this case, those peas, fix nitrogen and put it into the soil, which is food for the soil and the organisms that live within it. The grasses, in this case, they're rye, have deep roots that prevent against erosion and also aerate the soil and create good soil structure for the future. Additionally, it's a really perfect environment and habitat for bugs to live in. For example, here's the ladybug. Once we're done growing cover crop, we'll mow it down and let it break down and decompose, adding some more organic material back into the soil. All of this allows us to be taking care of our soil for year after year. Like cover crop, compost is another way in which we partner up with living and non-living things in order to create really nutrient-rich soil. We throw food scraps like the tops of carrots, or the leaves of broccoli, or a core of an apple into here, as well as some dead leaves and twigs that have fallen from the trees around us. Then, detritivores and decomposers are able to break that down. Those are some things like microorganisms and worms. And they take all that plant material and make a really nutrient-rich soil that we're able to add back into our fields. That way, our next year's plants are nice and healthy. Thanks for coming on this tour with me and learning about Shalom Farms and the ecosystems that we're a part of. What are some ecosystems that you can make a positive impact in? Do you have any people in your neighborhood or in your school that you know could use something that you have a little extra of? Can you reduce or reuse or recycle or start a composting pile at your home? Could you plant flowers around your school, around your home to make some food for pollinators? There are so many ways that you can make a positive impact on your ecosystem, and I hope that you're inspired to do some of this.